Now, religious worship all over the world has been impacted by COVID-19. Some places of worship have tried to adapt with services online. Others have closed completely under government rules. In Uganda, some evangelical Christian leaders have launched a campaign with the now universal "I Can't Breathe." So from Nigeria to Zimbabwe, people are speaking out, or, as some reports suggest, sneaking out to worship. I caught up earlier with Uganda's Prophet Elvis Mbonye.
We are congregating online, but we do not consider it as sacred, as it should be. We actually don't consider it because the scripture says that you should not forsake the assembling together. And Jesus said several times that, when you come together and assemble together, there are certain practices you will find that are omitted in the online gathering that you can't consider that is the perfect will that God intended for believers to gather.
Right, but another argument might be that gathering together has been part of the problem. That is how the coronavirus has spread. We saw this in South Korea, where there was a church that became a problem because of the number of people who got infected there. So surely, given the situation at the moment, one way of preventing the spread of the coronavirus is to ensure that churches don't congregate.
That would be understandable to the non-believing perspective. When you abandon your faith in times of contrasting trials, when you abandon it, your faith should not be considered as something that is authentic. It is fake. It is
so you're saying basically that now is the time for people's faith to be tested, but there are people all over the world who say that, again, wherever there's been a gathering and these gatherings have happened, there's been a spread of the coronavirus, and that they'll argue that there's a very thin line between faith and foolishness because you don't want to be foolish because that could result in a spread of the virus. Where do you draw the line?
Well, the Apostle Paul says, if I'm a fool for God, then so be it. You see, the thing is that when you're a person of faith, your faith speaks in all times, in all situations, in all circumstances.
Right. So Tanzania is one example of a government that has taken the stance that, God has gotten rid of the coronavirus in our country. Uganda, on the other hand, maintained lockdowns and there were restrictions. If you were to choose one of the two, which one would you have gone for?
Definitely Tanzania. And
so basically you disagree with how the government of Uganda has handled the coronavirus?
100%.
You disagree with it?
Yes. I prefer the Tanzanian model where they put their faith to action. What they claim to believe, the president, who is a scientist, by the way, he goes ahead and, he puts his faith to the test. And I know that Tanzania will come out on top because it has put God, above science. You see, the times that we are living in, where you have to consult science to practice your faith, you are basically saying that science is above God, and that's something that is sacrilegious. It is something that I think needs to be really, really examined.
Yeah, for a man of faith, that would make sense. But for a majority of the world who do not actually believe the way you believe, it is going to be science. You have to be led by science. You have to be led by facts. By the fact that, for example, in the United States of America, over 190,000 people have died from the coronavirus. In India, millions of people have been infected by the coronavirus. Are you disputing the existence of the coronavirus?
I am not disputing the existence of coronavirus. What I'm saying is we are people of faith, and faith never changes.
If you had a conversation with President Museveni today, what would be that conversation? What would you be saying to him about the opening up of churches?
I would say to him that our motto says, for God and my country, not for science and my country. That's the motto of Uganda, for God and my country.
There you are, Prophet Elvis Mbonye and Bola. A lot of people have these thoughts, do they not? There are a lot of people who share that thinking.